Hello, this is Vidas.
And I'm Usha.
Let's talk today about some of the issues when you have to create some material yourself. And what is easier if you have some ground rules or you just completely come up with a free material yourself? How do you think, Osha?
Well, for me, it's better, it's easier to just keep rules.
Right, for me too, of course. For many people, for majority of people, I guess this is the case. When you have, I don't know, let's say a melody, right, a single melody, and your assignment is to add three lower parts. We call it the harmonization, right? It's a difficult process for some, but it's relatively understandable, right? You add what? You first add maybe the bass line, and then add the middle parts, alto and tenor, or you could do what? Each chord separately: soprano, alto, tenor, bass, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, right? But you have the rules, right?
Sure.
What kind of rules do you have when harmonizing? Just a few.
Well, the most common rule is if chords have the common pitch, you leave it in the same place, in the same voice. So that's the harmonic, voice chord connection. And when there is melodic chord connection, when one voice, for example, bass goes, let's say, down, and the rest of the voices go up into the opposite direction. That's the melodic, voice leading. So that's
the two most common chord progressions.
Yes.
What else? Can you move all the voices into one direction, or you could strive for opposite motion?
Well, very rarely you can do that in some chords, some specific chords, but I would not suggest that to do. It doesn't sound well, actually. And often if you will lead all four voices to one direction, you will have such mistakes as parallel fifths and octaves.
Right. So these are the ground rules, right,
Sure.
in harmony.
Sure. Yes.
Many other things are derived from those just three rules: harmonic progression, melodic progression, and what else? This opposite voice leading. When bass goes to the other direction that the soprano goes, right?
Sure.
Imagine that you had to come up with an exercise or a short piece of music yourself where you didn't have the melody in front of you. Would that be more difficult?
I think so. I think so. It would require, not just to know the harmonic, voice leading rules, but you would have to have some creativity, to show some creativity, in order to create a melody yourself.
Right. And not only that, for example, if I said for a student, harmonize in any way you want, you can use any kinds of chords, any kind of connections. You can do parallel fifths, you can do dissonant chords without resolutions, anything you want. Would that be easier or more difficult?
I don't know. For me, it would be hard because I'm so used to those rules, so I cannot, do without them anymore. But I don't know, for beginner, it probably would be easier to do just, whatever.
But of course, the prerequisite for that would be one rule would be, right, make it interesting, right? And without any rules, you have to come up with something to make it interesting, right? Because if you do whatever you want, it would be anarchy, right? In
Sure.
music,
Yes.
and we don't usually want anarchy in music unless you try to create some special effects in your musical piece just for that character, just for that color, right?
Yes.
So I guess our point today is you need to have some rules, right? Can you invent the rules yourself, Osha? How do you think? Or should you follow the rules that others masters before you invented?
Well, I think at the beginning you probably should follow rules before making your own rules. And, when you will manage, the now existing rules very well, then you can create your own rules. That's my opinion.
It's like you should know the law, but then you can break the law, right? If you want, or bend the law, take it, go around the law, right? So it's the same in music writing and composition as well, in general creativity. you should know the traditions that went before you, right?
Sure.
And
That's important.
if you think that you can come up with something new, right? Your own ideas, your own style, then you create some new rules, right?
Sure.
But after you assimilate the old rules, it's really helpful to know the traditions before you, right? What is dangerous with following the rules? What is really a mistake for people who are just following the rules all day long in music?
You know, your music might become boring.
Right, right. So nobody will listen to your exercises, right? Dry and musical exercises. It will sound just like harmony, right? And harmony is not fun at all. You have to have some surprising element which your listeners don't expect, right? And that's where you come up with some creative, fresh ideas. But you know, how can you come up with something new if you don't know what is old, right?
Sure.
You should know what to avoid, you know.
I think you have to know rules, before breaking them. When you know them, then you can actually break them.
So I guess our assignment for you today would be to take pencil and paper, staff notation, and write a short melody for yourself, maybe let's say 4 or 8 measures, and how about harmonizing in 4 parts, not using one way, right? But how about 10 different ways? Because you can do that, right? Different chords, 3-note chords, 4-note chords, 5-note chords, many chords, right? And inversions also. And each variation would be different, right? And at the end of this assignment, when you have those 5 or 10 variations, you will discover that number 1 is so much more different than from number 10. And you will discover also that something about yourself that you would probably want to stop after number 3, right? But if you keep going, if you push yourself, then probably would be your writing and your creativity would be much more free at the end and much more basically advanced, right?
Yes.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye-bye.